So here I am on my trusty city bike at the beginning, or the end, on your preference, of this 26-kilometre long riverside park that runs along the Huangpu River. There is no single name for this park, so we'll just call it the Huangpu Riverside Park. It has a dedicated jogging track, it has a dedicated cycle track, it has a dedicated walking track. It's a bit small here, it does get bigger. You can see the end is marked by this official graffiti. You can see all the wonderful river traffic that we'll highlight later on. Above me is the Huangpu, which is the Huangpu very large bridge, and we'll pass by about 3 or 4 other big bridges along the way. It's a great day today. The tide is practically at its peak. There is a huge amount of river traffic, and I'm sure we're going to stop somewhere along the way to look at some of these boats. So let's go. And you can see plenty of these old warehouses that used to exist all the way along the shore here, falling apart now and being used perhaps for sort of modern tourism. And about every kilometre there is one of these fantastic service stations. Inside there's a reading room with books, with cushions. There's places to sit, plug in your PC and do some work, which people do all the time. There are public lavatories, which are fantastic. There's a drinks machine, there's fresh water. There's a first aid kit, which I know from experience. It's great. But we'll go on, we'll visit another one down the path. So we stopped here briefly just because I want to show you the part of Shanghai that is basically untrammeled by tourists. It's beyond the Huangpu. You can see this lovely old jetty here, and these things were dotted all along the river, and all of this now has been reclaimed and made into this fantastic park. But there's something very attractive, something very gritty about this old infrastructure that used to exist here, and still does way down south. And you can see that's where the real industry of Shanghai is today. It is a gorgeous day for a ride, but it is certainly very hot. So I am looking down onto one of the hundreds and hundreds of canals that come off the Huangpu. This one probably goes straight to the East China Sea. You can see a couple of lovely houseboats down here. They've been there a while. The tide is practically at its peak here. It takes about an hour for the tide to get high beyond the confluence of the Huangpu and the Yangtze River itself, which is about 50 kilometers downstream from here. And I have to tempt you to go and look at that wonderful river traffic over there. You can see these lovely unladen boats taking advantage of the slow flow that occurs at a turn of a tide. Aha, and this is one of the old ferry stations. In fact, it's the farthest one south, or rather upstream on the Huangpu, that I know about at least. It's a very old ferry station. It takes many scooters across here. It costs 2 kwai, which is about 25 pence or 30 cents if you're an American, which is a very small amount of money. It's a great ride if you love being on the water, as I do. It's a good thing to do. But for now, let's move along. So I stopped here because I don't want to cause a stampede. This is one of the many signs along the way. So apparently this is called the Sign Lane Waterfront, the East Bund Sign Lane Waterfront. And it's great. You want to have a look to see what's you should not do here. You should not, for example, prevent a stampede, or rather you should prevent a stampede. You are not allowed to square dance, like, for example. Only ride on the bikeway, not like us, sometimes on the walkway. No mopeds, absolutely not. No motor vehicles, no kite flying, that's a shame. No hawking, just no wonder we don't see any hawks around here. No noise. No amplification system. There's a wonderful little kids' playground to my left. They've built that in the last 3 months. Right, now here, although I'm cycling illegally on the jogging path, just to show you, this is a lovely little landscape service station, it's number 19, which means we are 17 kilometers away from Shanghai Tower, which is that way. Although I don't think I'm going to make it today. Not in this temperature, at least. Still, let's carry on. Well, today's a hot one. I think it's about 34 degrees. Well, it feels like more like 40 when the sun's out. Now here you can see, there's a kind of good view of the river, the Bend. You can see that pointed skyscraper, the sort of Orthanc Tower looking thing. That's one of the hotels, I think it's a Marriott hotel. It sits at the northern end of People's Park, which is about 20-25 kilometers away as the crow flies, maybe a bit less. And behind the trees, which you cannot see and nor can I, but it is there, is the second tallest building in the world, the Shanghai Tower. But never mind all that, I am pooped and I am going to rest in this gazebo. Now what I need now is a good roast beef sandwich, a cup of tea, maybe make that iced tea, maybe make that a Long Island iced tea. Yeah, I can handle that. That would be okay.